Hey guys, Eckhart here. Hello and welcome to another episode of Halo Top 5, the series where I count down something in the Halo universe. Some of you are probably used to my Star Wars Versus series or my Star Wars Top 5 series. Maybe you've never seen a Halo video on my channel before. Well, give it a chance. You might find it interesting. And if you don't worry. I've got a Star Wars Top 5 and a Star Wars Versus in the works for tomorrow and the next day. The Forerunners were always one of my favorite parts of the Halo universe. They were very powerful but mysterious, and they had an affinity for interesting architecture and of course megastructures. Probably my favorite location in the Halo universe is the Lesser Ark. It's a sort of extragalactic foundry which dwarfs in size even the humongous Halo rings that we'd seen in the previous games. And I always loved the flower-shaped arms which you can see ascending into the sky in the distance. One of my biggest problems with how 343 has handled Halo after Halo 3 is how they've treated the Forerunner. They've completely removed their mystery and changed their visual look and their architecture almost completely. I will say though, they have added some interesting and some large Forerunner megastructures, so much so that the Lesser Ark, which I previously mentioned, is nowhere near the top of this list. And perhaps even more interesting, the gigantic Halo rings, which are of course the star of the series, don't even make the list, and it's not really close. I don't really have any rules on this list. I'm considering basically any megastructure created by the Forerunners. The only thing I won't be including is the Forerunner Quarantine Shield, which seems to be less of a megastructure and more like a collection of Forerunner drones. With number 5, we have the planet of Genesis, and just for reference, the diameter of the Earth is about 12,000 kilometers. Genesis had a diameter of 30,000 kilometers. Genesis beats out many megastructures within the Halo universe, including the previously mentioned 7 Halo rings and the 12 larger ones that came before it. For reference, the 7 small Halo rings have a diameter of about 10,000 kilometers, while the larger ones have a diameter of 30,000 kilometers, but aren't quite as massive as Genesis. It also beats out other planet-sized megastructures, including the shield worlds of Onyx, well, sort of, and we'll get to that in a minute, and of course Requiem from Halo 4. We visit Genesis in Halo 5. It's a very lush-looking world, which makes sense because it was created by the Forerunners for several purposes. It makes seed worlds to help civilizations continue to survive, but also holds a portal to the domain. Genesis and, on a larger level, the domain itself are both creations of 343, and while I don't really feel like their abstract nature, or to be honest, their design, matches the Forerunner of Bungie, which is what I prefer, there's no denying that it is a huge megastructure, so it reaches the number 5 spot on this list. At number 4, we get a big jump up with Installation 00, also known as the Lesser Ark, or just sometimes the Ark. With a diameter of more than 100,000 kilometers, this Forerunner structure created the already massive Halos. The thing is so big that it has a planet in the center, which it devours to use as material for the creation of rings and other objects. Like I said, this is my favorite location in the Halo universe. It's so mysterious, it's so large. I really love the diversity of ecosystems, kind of like what we see on the original Halo rings. And of course, that moment when you step off the Pelican and look up in the sky and see the Milky Way galaxy is just amazing. The Ark is also lit and powered by an artificial star above the installation. Now, if I knew more details about this, it would likely be large enough itself to make this list and probably near the top. We also know that the creation or moving of stars was a fairly common practice by the Forerunner, so this is by all means not a comprehensive list. You may be wondering though, why is it called the Lesser Ark? Well, this brings us to number 3, which is the Greater Ark. The Greater Ark, kind of like the Lesser Ark, was responsible for the creation of Halos. However, it didn't build the 7 which are seen or mentioned during the Halo games, it created the original 12. At 30,000 kilometers in diameter, these 12 Halos were 3 times the size of the Halos that we know from the main games. It was the unwieldy size of the 12 original Halos, along with their limited range, that led to them being replaced by the 7 smaller weapons. However, while they still were around, the Greater Ark was to them as the Lesser Ark was to the other 7. It was used to create the rings as well as replace or repair them, and it was also a spot where you could survive the firing of the rings if you activated them remotely. At this point, the actual size of the Greater Ark has not been revealed, which is why I've put it as a kind of safe number 3. But if we assume that the Ark scales up proportionally with the size of the rings, it could be up to 300,000 kilometers in diameter. It could perhaps be even bigger because we know that it created 12 rings instead of 7, but I mean, we just know that it was really large. Besides that, there were a couple of main differences, one being that it didn't actually use an artificial sun, it used some sort of plasma lighting technology. The second was that it had 6 arms instead of 8. The Greater Ark would be, sadly, eventually destroyed by the Flood. Number 2 is the Maythrillion, which was essentially the capital of the Forerunners. Interestingly, not unlike how High Charity was built around and powered by a Forerunner Dreadnought, Maythrillion was built built around a precursor construct. The Maithrillian was huge, almost like a stack of discs, with the widest one being over 100,000 kilometers in diameter. It's also a lot different than the other entries on the list. Maithrillian didn't have an artificial environment or climate by the looks of it, it was more just a space station. Again though, I don't really love the Maithrillian, it doesn't match what I believe to be classic Forerunner architecture or classic Forerunner design. Still, it is pretty cool that they managed to build something so huge. Also kind of cool is that the space station had slip space portals to the Ark and to other key locations in the Forerunner Empire. Also interesting is that a halo ring was fired near the Maithrillian, which killed most of the Forerunner leadership and caused them to move their capital to the Greater Ark. The number one entry on this list blows everything else completely out of the water. Number one is the Sarcophagus, and if you haven't read The Ghost of Onyx, this one is kind of hard to understand. The Sarcophagus was located inside the shield world of Onyx, a megastructure which, at 15 kilometers long, was certainly impressive, but not large enough to make this list. Inside this shield world was a slip space bubble, which, from the outside, appeared to be only 23 centimeters in diameter. However, when you enter the sarcophagus itself, by passing through the slip space bubble, you're introduced to the largest creation in Forerunner history. The sarcophagus is a massive, massive Dyson Sphere measuring over 300 million kilometers in diameter. A Dyson Sphere is a very large megastructure. It's typically built around some sort of star to capture all of its energy. And this Dyson Sphere, the sarcophagus, was actually so big that not only did it capture a star, but 3 planets which actually stayed in orbit. If you're having trouble imagining what it would look like to be on this Dyson Sphere, just picture you're on a standard halo. Make it about 10,000 times larger and stretch it all the way around so you can't see any open space. So if you were standing on the ground and you had the proper equipment, you could look up, see not only the stars and the orbiting planet, but also farther away the other side of the sphere. So Onyx was a very interesting facility, and the slip space bubble and the inside Dyson Sphere was probably the greatest shield world created by the Forerunners. If you want to learn more about the shield world in the UNSC expedition to the sarcophagus, I highly recommend the book Halo: Ghosts of Onyx. The book came out quite a while ago, but it's really a classic and it's one of my favorite Halo books. I've put an Amazon affiliate link down in the description. You can go there, buy the book or buy something else, and I'll get a bit of the money, so it will help me out. So those are the 5 largest Forerunner megastructures, at least the ones that have been revealed formally and that I'm aware of. If I missed any, let me know down in the comments, and take a second right now to vote in the upper right hand corner and let me know which one was your favorite. I really hope you guys enjoyed this and that you want to see more Halo content on the channel in the future. If you do, make sure to give this video a like, and I'll know that, hey, this is stuff that you guys like. Anyways guys, as always, this has been Eckhart's Ladder. Thank you very much for watching. May the Force be with you. Hey guys, I just finished recording and I meant to do something today that I totally forgot to do. I wanted to give a very special thank you to 2 users on Twitter, and they retweet literally everything that I post, and that means a lot because I don't have very many followers, and I just love seeing you guys try to help me out, and I really wanted to say thank you specifically to Silvertails555 and Jid 2012. Also to the other users like Mike Clank and Thomas Navarro, thank you so much guys, it really means a lot to me. If you haven't followed me on Twitter yet and you would like to, you can just search up Eckhart's Ladder Twitter and it should come up, or you can click the link that I have down in the description. Also, if you want to get further involved in the community, you can join me on Discord, where I think there's 230 of us now. The community keeps growing and just keeps getting more ridiculous and more fun. Also, of course, if you want to help me out, you can donate to me on GoFundMe, trying to raise money for the new microphone, which I've definitely got enough money for, but perhaps a new computer so I can do more fancy editing for you guys. So yes, sorry for the little extra here, but I've also got some big news and perhaps a surprise coming that I'm working on for you guys for the next couple of weeks, perhaps maybe a giveaway. Anyways, thanks again guys, see you next time.